Good afternoon, everyone. Gary Gabagool here with my boy Sal. First and foremost, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Happy New Year. Getting into the festivities today. Sal had a half a day. I had a vacation day.
I had a weird day, guys. The internet went out on the shore, and they said it wasn't coming back until like 5, 6 o'clock. So
Cut out.
that was it. Got to go home.
So today, the song we picked had nothing to do with any topic, but I just love the song. It's a very great opening. It's a Stones bitch, and I just love the opening, and it's Mick Jagger and the Stones at its finest. So I want to open up with that. But basically, guys, what we're going to do on this podcast, we're going to make it a short one. It was number 38 of the Red podcast. We're going to make it a short one, kind of like a year in review. That's right. I just want to start with one thing, and this is probably the only relevant topic we're going to discuss. And Sal can give his opinion, and we're just going to get into we're not going to get into any like specifics. We're just going to kind of jump into some of the things that transpired over the last half a year when we've been doing this, a little over half a year.
And what really stood out, what direction we think everything's going in, stuff like that.
So the only thing I really want to mention was we came to know yesterday morning, or I guess Christmas Eve morning, that Andrew McCabe, we knew this. We reported this about 7 podcasts ago, but it was physically confirmed that Andrew McCabe, while he was at the FBI as assistant deputy director, was using his email server to promote his wife's Democratic campaign in Virginia, where she received $700,000 from Terry McAuliffe, who was the former Virginia governor and good friend of Hillary Clinton. We also found out that money was given to her by the DNC.
I saw that story this morning. I was reading.
So, listen, I'm not going to get too heavily into it, but every time I hear a Democrat or a liberal say to me, Hillary Clinton hasn't been convicted of any crimes.
Everyone she knows, though.
Yep.
Everyone that has worked with her, everyone who has anything to do with anyone who has ever spoken her name somehow gets in trouble.
Right. Well, there's a terminology that you liberals should be aware of called quid pro quo. What that means is I give you this, you give me that.
You scratch my back.
Exactly.
I scratch yours.
So Andrew McCabe,
more.
who basically was supposed to be investigating Hillary, she was getting taken care of, or his wife was getting taken care of. He was promoting her while he was on the job, which is completely criminal. We find out James Comey, brother Peter, worked for a law firm in New York City that was investigating the Clinton Foundation, and they were exonerated. We found out he received the $800,000 house in Northern California from the Clinton Foundation. Of course, there's no wrongdoing there, but this could go on and on. So that was really the only relevant topic that I wanted to get into. And then Sal and I were going to get into just kind of like the year in review. And if you guys have any topics there that we forgot, please mention and we'll address.
Yeah.
But we figured this time of the year, everyone's out with their families, maybe short work weeks. You guys.
A lot of people on vacation.
Yeah, vacations. You guys might be.
A lot of people just checking out, too. I feel
that's a perfect word, checking out. Or, you know what? Something as simple as your kids might be playing with their toys and you want to go play with them.
Exactly.
So, yeah, checking out's a good word. So we're not going to keep up too much of your time. And we're just so why don't you get into it first, Sal, what your thoughts were?
One of the biggest news items that I saw this year that I wanted to just recap on, and this might be the reason that I decided to talk to Gary, and we started this whole podcast, and this was the story. It was Mueller and this Trump-Russia nonsense BS investigation that has been going on, wasting $10 million of our money.
Forever.
And me and Gary saw it from the beginning, and we just knew, like, this is total BS. This is total fraudulent crap, that they're not going to get anything, that they're going to just dig stuff up and dig stuff up and dig stuff up and try to find something there when they dig it up and probably going to unearth nothing, which has happened, wasting tons of money, and now they have to go on to something else. So to me, the year-end review of that is we called it. From day one, we called this thing. Like, they're going to get nothing, and then they're going to try to call obstruction, and that's not going to work, and then their whole investigation is going to go up in smoke.
These guys in the DNC and these liberals, their mantra is throw as much shit against the wall and pray to God something sticks. And it's like, listen, a broken clock is right twice a day. And so that's what they're figuring on, but they are so pathetic. But that is the Russia Trump stuff.
The dossier, everything that came from it.
And we just found out it was all fake. Using GPS, we talked about.
You knew about using GPS before anybody knew about using GPS.
Here's the funny thing is, you still have some brain-dead liberals, not just in the media, in our society, they walk amongst us, who still talk about Russia, Trump. It's now they become a comedy sketch. They're a joke, but they still do it. We know people that are still doing it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I personally learned myself this year, and this recapping what is 2017 is that liberalism isn't just like a political belief, or like I guess we would technically be conservatives, but me and Gary would be the first ones to tell you that we're not exactly all conservative.
No.
What that proves to me is that liberal people who always identify as liberal, they're so proud to be liberal. They're indoctrinated into this belief that they can never get out of. It's almost like being in North Korea. Like, those people are so screwed up in the mind that they actually think that little fat guy is a god.
Yeah.
This is to the point where liberalism is becoming, is that they're indoctrinated into believing these things as truth when they're completely wrong.
Well, it's amazing that, we talk about this all the time. It's amazing how many times you could sit in front of a liberal and you could just bring up point after point, fact after fact, and then they do this deflection thing where they come across with something else. And it's so hard to have this discussion. In their heart of hearts, they know if they had one credible brain cell in their heads, they got to know how fucked up they sound. Yeah. They sound ridiculous. Like, people laugh. That's why when you're on a Facebook post or even in the show, like, we laugh at these people because they're sad, they're pathetic. Like, how are you going to, like, you have every single person that's somewhat intelligent telling you that these are the reasons why, boom, 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 and you still are arguing. It's like your boat is drowning, and you're saying, I'm going to be okay, and as you're doing it, the water's coming, you go, blah, 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 blah. You're like, you're still going to go wait till the ship goes down. I've never seen anything like it. And we've said it from day one, it's a mental disorder now. I think it actually should be classified as mental disorder.
And to that point, one of the other last little bits of real news we'll get before the year ends. Today I saw that there's a left-wing liberal group taking up arms and starting the trial. I don't know if I didn't read the story. I don't know if they're trying to form a militia, but they're all taking up arms and they're forming these groups to defend minorities who cannot defend themselves. I'm like, what? What?
What does that mean?
What is that? Yeah, like,
well, from other minorities.
I have no idea. From conservatives, I think.
Why? If you think about it,
because conservatives want them out of the country. So I don't.
You're talking about like refugees.
I have to read the story. It's my fault. I didn't get into it, but yeah, they're trying to protect smaller minority, or probably refugees, from concern. I'm like, are these people? They're insane.
They're gonna shoot themselves in the foot. They won't be able to handle a gun. They don't know what they're doing. They'll be all clumsy and they'll drop it. They'll recoil. The thing will like smack them in the eye. The shoulder will get separated.
Constantly splitting the forehead open.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. I look at those threats as the same ones we heard on November 4th that never came to fruition.
Jokes.
It's a joke. But one of the things we want to get into real quick, and I think we're going to probably cover maybe 4 or 5 topics, but we're going to just talk about I think the big stories. We're going to summarize them in more of a broad overview, not with a lot of facts, not like with a lot of specifics. But the one thing we learned in 2017 is the incredible media bias of CNN, CNBC, rags like the Post, New York, Washington, all cable news, all primetime news, 2, 4, and 7. We found out that these people are being paid by the DNC. That was proven by Julian Assange. That was another big story, WikiLeaks.
Donna Brazile.
Yes, both. Correct. Yeah. Great point. But WikiLeaks is one of the heroes of 2017. Julian Assange is one of my heroes because he basically, and he might have did it for selfish reasons. I don't really care why he did it. But that man has put his life on hold. And he, besides Donald Trump, he is one of the few, he should be man of the year because he exposed, and I say this from day one, when Donald Trump says it's a swamp, I have to completely disagree. I call it an ocean of criminality. It's way too deep, way too wide, way too far to be a swamp. This is unbelievable, the shit we're finding out now. And we kind of knew all about it, but the media, and the one thing I didn't realize is how, and that's one thing I did learn this year, is how in the tank the media is. I mean, we always knew they were bad, but this is not even bad. This is like horrific. Like Sal told the story last week of 93% of stories or whatever, 90, whatever they are. And that's probably more.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. Listen, if I got 100 people, including Sal and myself, and I said, hey guys, what do you want to eat tonight? Do you want to eat a hamburger, or do you want to eat a hot dog? Or do you want to eat a grilled cheese? It would probably be 50-50. We could even go as wide as say, Yeah, you want a filet mignon or you want a salad? I would bet you it would even be higher than 90-10. But to be 90-10 or 95-5, which it is completely skewed way too much. And that's supposed to be the impartial media. That's pretty sad.
I love that that Trump now is using that impartiality against him for like all his causes. He uses everything. He's like they're all supposed to be tolerant and all this stuff. So he just does things that should be tolerated.
Right.
They should be all inclusive. No, but if he does it, it's the most evil thing that has ever happened in the world. But if someone else did it, another world leader, it'd be fine. I love it that he's pointing it out now, and everybody gets to see it. Everyone gets to see the hypocrisy.
Well, it's funny because my wife and I we didn't watch a lot of news in the last couple of days, obviously, because of the holiday. But we were flipping through the channels last night, and Chris Wallace, who's supposed to be a semi-unbiased guy, was ragging on Trump because Trump tweeted this about McCabe, what we talked about earlier. And he kind of said that it's a very presidential. And I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, it's presidential. You know what? This is the way communication has to change. If Donald Trump didn't embrace tweeting and social media, he never would have been elected. Because and all of us in particular as well. And to be honest with you, Sal's way up. I'm one of the biggest lame asses when it comes to technology. But social media is not, you don't have to be a genius to figure it out. And if I did it, anybody can do it. And that's really the reason why he won.
Yeah, no doubt.
He circumvented. He was intelligent enough to know to circumvent the media bias that we talked about earlier.
And he knew people, especially our people who voted for him, were starving for something real.
That's a great point.
Give me something real. Don't have to necessarily be the greatest person on the planet Earth, but as long as you're real, I can accept you a lot more than I can accept someone else.
It's amazing. I hear liberals, and this is the argument I have to Sal's point, and it's been this simple. They say, "Oh, he's brash. I don't like him. He's brash. He's direct. He's rude." And I sit there and say, "Wait a second. You don't think your heroes? We talk about Obama.
Exactly.
No, I'll tell you what they do. I always call it they do the mask. Like
that light turns on the camera.
Like right now, say if I was Hillary or Obama and Sal was one of my underlings and I asked him or her to do something, the camera's off. Get that fucking thing done, you piece of shit. As soon as the camera goes on.
Yeah. Hi. How are you?
Oh,
you had a great day today,
yes,
Sal?
Yeah, exactly. So to me, I would, and I think he treats his people with respect. And I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying that but that's just the phoniness that occurs. I'd rather have somebody who's real and brash and harsh than that shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's because it's real. Yeah, I might not agree with the brash or harshness in certain situations, but at least I know it's coming from a real place, from a real person. Right. I'm not dealing with a corporate robot over here just looking for their own interests. So.
Yeah. So hopefully now, what I would like to do is what we discussed and look to the future.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't see 2018 changing.
What, media-wise?
Yeah, I don't. Not the biasness.
Well, the biasness will never change. Something is going to happen to break that this year, which I obviously can't foresee. But all the small wins that happened in 2017, it took all year of them bitching and complaining, but there were small wins along the way that they discredited and didn't acknowledge, and it all led to tax cuts.
Yeah.
It all led to the repeal of the Obama mandate.
Yep.
So it's leading to great things.
They're still not giving him credit for that.
He's not going to get credit.
Right, which is fine.
So, I don't know. I feel like...
I just wish they wouldn't lie. That's the thing. It's not even they omit good stuff. They lie. They outward lie. And that's where I think what happens is we as individuals have to keep calling them out. Yeah. And that's really the only thing we can do.
I think, I don't know. I was looking into it, but a lot of those media companies I've been talking about for a while, but I told they're hemorrhaging money.
Yes. And it's going to end sometime.
It has to, and that's what my other point is. Like, they can't keep going along the way they did. There was a piece on Vice, Vox, BuzzFeed, missing a couple other ones. HuffPost has got a ton of money, but a couple other ones but they were hemorrhaging, losing millions and millions of dollars each year, and they're like, I don't think we can keep going much longer. So.
I mean, I do think there's some beacons of hope on TV, and I'm not just a Fox guy. We don't really watch that much Fox, but I have to say, I think Tucker Carlson is outstanding. I love to me, he has an interesting look, and he argues like we would argue. Like, he puts people on the spot. I think he's way better than Bill O'Reilly, quite frankly. I think he's great, and he calls people out. I think Hannity is good. I think Hannity has more of an elementary school type of way of going about. Like, he or a salesman mentality where you have to say the same thing 7 times to get your point across, and it's fine.
He wants to beat it into
he
your
wants
brain.
to beat it into your brain. But his stuff is, I'll tell you what, if you go back and look, people can rag on Hannity, call him a Yahoo, whatever you want. The stuff he reported, Uranium One, all that stuff, he reported a lot of stuff. That all came true. So you got to give Hannity. He was the only one talking about it at the time. And then Laura Ingraham, I think, is really good. And I also think Lou Dobbs. He's an older man, but Lou Dobbs is an interesting guy because he used to be on MSNBC, I believe, and then he got canned for not wanting to toe the company line, and he got brought over to Fox. And I think he's a true intelligent guy. He's an old school news guy, and he's a conservative. And I think on that station, then we have guys out in the public, Levin, Michael Savage, who I think are great. Jordan Peterson, phenomenal. So I do think there are people to hang on to, out there.
Now, to I guess switch off now the recapping of the media bias. Going a little bit more globally for Trump's agenda, his foreign affairs. What he said he was going to do with the UN before he was president, and now that is all coming to fruition that he is president. Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, he even stated when he was running for president that we pay a grossly over amount of money to the UN, like 30%.
Yep.
We pay for the budget of a corporation that has 193 countries in it. We pay 30% of it. That's
correct.
I mean, just saying that alone, right? Oh, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah, that would be like your 10 people. 10 companies, and we're paid 3. Now it's
going like if you say the word global, it automatically triggers the word social.
Correct.
And equals socialism in your head. So if the whole world is going towards socialism, why are they not accepting of Jerusalem as a capital and a major hub of the world? Even though I get it, Bethlehem, Jerusalem, holy, crazy wars over it. But if the whole world is social now, if all these countries are going global and social, how could they be so intolerant of Jerusalem and vote it down? And then it proves his point that they're just a bunch of assholes. Pretty much. I can break down the financial. I'm just going to call them assholes to sum it up. And that's it. We're out. They won't recognize his thing that everyone knows is legit. Everyone knows Jerusalem's the capital of Israel. They know that's legitimate. And then because it's Trump, they want to bad him. Make bad on him, and then boom, he wins. He wins again. Take our 30%, and go F yourselves. Yeah, that'll go into our defense budget now.
Yeah, and I also think that that building they occupy in New York on Avenue,
we can take that back. Get rid of it. Yeah,
move out.
Go to Canada. Yeah, Trudeau will love you there.
Yeah, go to Canada, and that's a pretty big building. That's a lot of good real estate.
It's on the water,
right? It's on the water. Everything in America's, and it's when they're having meetings, it is a pain in the ass to get around, man. You try to go anywhere near there. I try to do it because the hospital's over there. They put mirrors underneath your car. They get you out. They inspect. They rummage through your car. It's a pain in the ass.
How about get out of this country?
And so I listen. The United Nations hasn't done anything in the world in quite some time. And I'll give you an example. If they were so good at what they're supposedly doing, how come they allowed Stalin, Hitler, Mao, all these? Right now in Venezuela, shouldn't they be more concerned that you got some maniac in Venezuela who's prohibiting his people from eating or communicating, or this guy in North Korea? UN does nothing. Kofi Annan, who is the guy who is in charge, which Obama wants to be the next Kofi Annan, I'll guarantee you that. That guy stole more money and was paid off by more world leaders to turn a blind eye to stuff like Venezuela or the crimes in Africa where the warlords were killing villages to blood diamond and stuff like that. He was raking in the money, living large. That's supposed to be that's not even supposed to be a huge paid position. The guy, go look online. The guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars because he was paid off. So
I feel bad for Haley because she's probably going to lose her job because we won't need an ambassador anymore to the UN. But
she'll go into something.
No, exactly. He'll put her in somewhere else. But I think if he can successfully take our money out of the UN, that there will be no UN by the end of 2018.
No, I'd like to know how much dollars it actually is. I know it's 30%, but it's got to be hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of billions
over the course of time. But per year, I would love to find that out. I should have looked it up.
I would love to see the UN budget. We'll look that up.
The UN budget. Because let me tell you something. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even publish that shit, or you'd have to go look because they don't want you to know what we're spending. Because basically,
it's be astronomical, and that's all that we pay for these other asshole countries.
Right.
So
I'm
so happy. Good riddance. And I'm sorry.
No, go.
Looking forward to 2018. The next thing on the agenda is welfare reform.
Yep.
And I can't wait.
Yeah.
Because then that's another bump in our paychecks.
And listen,
another big bump.
one of the things that you cannot deny is a couple things, but Sal mentioned it. Everything Trump said he was going to do, he is doing pretty much.
It's taking a little bit longer.
It's taking a little, but that's fine. Listen, he's done more in 11 months than Bush and Obama did in 16 years, basically.
It's sad.
It's sad.
Fucking
It's
crazy.
sad, but he did. And he works his ass off. So do me a favor. Please do not sound like the ignorant fools you are when you tell me he tweets too much. If you've ever tweeted, tweeting is a 30 to 45-second task. That is such insane argument to have with me that he tweets a lot. So even if he tweets 20 times a day.
So you want him to curb his freedom of speech. That's
Right.
all that people.
That's what you want
What
to
I
do.
hear when I hear
Yeah.
people, he needs to stop tweeting.
Right.
So he needs to stop speaking freely.
Right.
That's what you want him to
Yeah,
do.
you don't like it.
Okay.
Or if you're, I sometimes too, I think they compare it to like taking away from his work. Like, are you kidding me? Obama never worked. Let's get this. He never worked.
And that's
shit.
it. And they get mad. Well, if then he tweets at 4 o'clock in the morning, then they get upset about that.
Right.
He's not working at 4 o'clock in the morning. Can he tweet? No, it's too early. Then it's just like, oh my God, there's no winning.
The guy.
There's no winning.
The guy's a beast. So he's just he's a workhorse, and the man is 70 years old, and he has a harder work ethic than 99.9% of the people in this country. I've never seen it.
I wish I had that.
I don't know where he gets his energy from. This guy, because
That too. I wish I had his energy.
he's insane. I mean, he doesn't sleep. But with that being said, we're gonna jump back and forth with Trump and his successes. But the second thing, or one of the things we found out this year, was the incredible amount of corruption in the FBI and CIA.
Yeah.
Over the course of this past year, it's just been an overwhelming amount of information. And we just found out recently about the FBI, but early in the year, it was the CIA. There was a gentleman who I talked about him. Wow, it must have been last February or March. His name was Jorge Paz. He was a former CIA agent and FBI. And then there was another FBI guy who was just saying the amount of corruption in the Mueller, Comey years, and the higher ups. I personally think that the foot soldiers of those organizations, I think they're pretty good people.
Yeah.
I think it's the guys in the management who are the big time players who are making the big money and cutting the deals. That's what I think. And if you look at them, they're all kind of dweeby looking. So you wonder how did these guys ever? I don't think these guys ever were in the field. I don't think they ever worked. I think they were just guys who maybe got a college degree, were lawyers, were served on, big like what's his name, Comey. He served on Lockheed Martin. He was a vice president. Big money, man. This guy had. I mean, and I think he was making $30 million a year. And he was cutting deals with people, and so this guy all of a sudden gets involved, and he gets involved in this. But the amount of corruption that we're seeing is just.
Dude, doesn't like the corruption.
No, he doesn't like it either. My dog doesn't like it either. But it's just coming to the surface of how much there is, and it has to end.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that you see too. Well, who really knows? But you see just the interchanging of corporate leaders and government officials, and you've seen it now for the past 20 years. He was the congressman of this. Now he's the president of such and such company.
Correct.
Now the president of such and such company is now the senator of such and such state.
It's true.
It's just the interchanging of that. I think there needs to be some more guidelines into the corporate and government world, like who can be what and what interests.
Yeah, they're like interchangeable. These guys. They're like interchangeable. These guys. Like they go and they like. If you remember back in New Jersey, we have McGreevy.
Yeah,
McGreevy corrupt. He was this gay guy who was paying this guy all these
crimes. And what was the lady afterwards?
Yeah,
she was corrupt too.
But
Whitman,
this,
right?
Yeah, but then this guy proceeds to go and become a partner in a law firm. And so it's like Sal mentioned, it's like chess pieces. Like it almost becomes, if you want to be a corporate leader, or you want to be in government, what you've done, good or bad, is pretty irrelevant. Because if it was people, but here's the thing, people in society who are more like low-level jobs like I have or Sal has or you guys have, we're held to a higher standard than the executives and people in politics, which is a shame.
Crazy, yeah.
Because we have little influence.
Zero tolerance.
Right. Zero tolerance.
And then if you're the head of a corporate leader, what did you touch? I guess it wasn't that bad. I guess you get a pass.
Yeah, we'll give you an umbrella. You might
have
to leave.
Severance package.
Exactly.
$3 million.
Right. But the amount, we're finding out this year how bad it really is. So my hope is that something gets done in the near future to really oust these guys out. And to that statement, McCabe looks like he's going to resign, which I hope he does. And if he does, I want Mueller, I want Comey, I want them all gone. Ron Rosenstein. That's like 4 or 5 guys that need to go. And if Jeff Sessions doesn't start stepping up to the plate, I think he's got to go for a more aggressive young guy who's not part of this shithole that we call the politics.
Himself a name.
Oh yeah, and I'm good with that. I want someone who's honest. And there's another guy who is he's that lead lawyer of the FBI. His name's Andrew Weissman. He is one of the biggest scumbags on the planet. They found, I think he made, in the last 4 years, he had 3 major decisions overturned by the Supreme Court. Like, ridiculous, like shut out. He was shut out on his decision because the way he came up with evidence was basically illegal. He like coerced, he threatened, and we know all about that and how that goes.
Yeah.
We have firsthand experience with that. But that's what this guy Weissman did. So I like to see him go too, because there's nothing worse than a rogue prosecutor when you're railroading people. And we're not talking about people like they should be so vigilant with radical Muslims who committed crimes. They give more respect to a shithead like that, a scumbag who killed Americans, than they do to someone who hasn't done anything wrong that they just don't like.
You got to provide sanctuary
Right.
for these people. Did you see that crazy story today about William Wilhelm? Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio. People who don't know William Wilhelm.
He has a lot of crazy stories, but what was today?
This story came out, it was in Politico, and then because some people who aren't, I guess, too high up in the Democratic National Party, they were asking him, like, is he preparing to run for president? What's he doing? Blah, blah, blah.
He's a moron.
Because, he wins by, like, landslides in New York.
Yeah.
People on the outside don't understand why.
Yeah.
And they were breaking it down in Politico, and how crazy he is. He's just a nut job.
Well, he's nuts.
Even they know it. And that's a left-wing media site. They're like, no, he's
crazy.
He's nuts. He compares himself to the likes of Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Mahatma Gandhi.
Really?
He's as good as everyone.
What's he invented?
He's as good as, he's as influential and as good as all. I mean, I was reading it, and you just see the picture like that crazy sick.
He's nuts.
He's a sick puppy. This guy.
He's nuts.
And I just love it. And then they're like, "Is he gonna run for president?" And everybody's like, "No, calm down. He's not. He'll never.
He's not a great guy.
He'll never ever become president."
I mean, I know some guys who do details in New York. He's late for everything. He's never on time. They say he's a total whack job.
You compare yourself to Gandhi and Henry Ford. Thomas said, like, you're inventing electricity, the car, and peace on earth.
And what did you do?
Mayor of New York City.
It's so whacked out. This is I tell you, like we said earlier, this is a mental disorder.
It is.
It's a disease.
It's like the arrogance of this man to think he's on the same level as Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, or Gandhi is unreal. It's just, I thought it was funny. I don't know.
Of course you laugh. The guy's a mental patient.
Oh my God.
I'm surprised he doesn't think he is them. He probably thinks he's them. You're gonna take him over like in a straitjacket. But one of the other big stories I found in 2017 was, I'm going to kind of combine a group of, in the past I would call them juggernauts of business, juggernauts of entertainment.
Yeah.
Things, if I told you 10 or 15 years ago, and I swear to God, if someone had said this to me, I would have said there's no way. But I'm talking about like the NFL, Hollywood, ESPN. Those are rocks of Gibraltar in entertainment. From the 70s till now, they were on a ski slope ascension trajectory for success. And I said this last week, and I said, it's true. It's almost impossible, and then I'll let Sal go. It's almost impossible to screw up Hollywood, the NFL, and ESPN. Those were like, murderer's row of entertainment. It's almost like this, and this is an example. You're a slam dunk to get the job. And, your best friend is going to hire you, and they're saying, hey, you guys meet my boss. Just go in and make nice and just don't. And in corporate America where I come, they say just don't take down your pants and shit on his desk. That's the analogy they used. Well, all 3 of these industries, they took down their pants and they shit on your desk because it was for Hollywood, the NFL, and ESPN to be failing so miserably, and it's all due to one thing: liberalism. They all decided to open their mouth. And here's the funny part is,
become social justice warriors.
exactly. If they did it once and, made a mistake and then back down, I think people would have been like, no. But these guys doubled, tripled, quadrupled. They're still doing it today. The NFL is so lost under Roger Goodell that now they're saying that they're going to give $100 million to social justice projects that George Soros, and people are like, how could you keep screwing up?
It makes the attendance dry up. It's a beautiful thing.
It's great.
The NFL, that was one of the big things they would always show stadium, like the fans in the stands cheering, going crazy. You barely see any fans now. They don't show any camera work in the stands no more because they don't want to show it.
I haven't watched a game on my TV here all year. So yesterday we were at our cousins in Nutley, and they had the game on. And Sal and I are just like kind of floating back and forth. The game sucked, and we were kind of floating back and forth. And I turned to Sal. I'm like, Sal, is that the upper deck?
You're really talking about the Texans. Yeah.
And
there's no one there.
And he goes, yeah. I go, well, what made me think about it was so quiet. And I know they were losing, but even when it was like 7-0, it was quiet. And then when it was like 14 or whatever, it was dead. And I purposely stood because I wanted to see and they avoided it like the plague. It was like they almost tried to like here's the camera angle on the field, and usually they do a broader one when like there's a bomb or something. They were like kind of because they didn't want you to they must be getting directions from NFL headquarters in New York, like don't show the crowds or the lack of, don't mention this, don't talk about it, don't. There was nobody there.
I went to maybe. I actually went to an NFL game this year. My friend had a free ticket for me, and they have season tickets, so I obliged him. I went to see the Jets Chiefs game a few weeks back. Might be the game of the season.
It was a good game. I don't
know. I was like, dude. He's like, no, don't worry, bro. Wait till the kickoff. I waited to kickoff. No one there. I was like, I waited to the end of the first quarter. No one there, and then it started getting really cold and rainy, and then that was it.
Yeah,
that was it. There was a majority of Chiefs fans over Jets fans there, which was crazy.
That's when Sal told me that. I mean, not that it mattered, but I'd never heard of New Jersey being a fan base of the Chiefs. I mean, I never heard of it in my life. I mean, it wasn't like the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl this year and like they're undefeated. They're barely going to make.
I think they're going to make the playoffs.
Well,
I don't know.
But they're not like that. They're killing it. But I don't think Chief fans even travel. It isn't like Steeler fans or Cowboy fans. But they were there, and I was just like, I bet you that.
I couldn't believe it.
Just no one even gives a shit.
But that's why, like you're saying, these staples. I'm just saying. The point is, if I was offered to go to I was offered several times to go, and I had to turn down a couple times, and a couple times I didn't want to go. But if I was offered Jets games tickets to go in the past, I would have. Right. Would have ate it up that. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah. Now it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Do I want to be seen there?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like football has gotten to the point where it turns my stomach, and it's weird. It's like I compare it to milk. Like milk is so good. Like I love milk, but once it goes sour, there's no way you can pick it up. That like think about this, people. If you have this is a good analogy I think I'm using. You have a gallon of milk in your thing, and you're drinking. You're drinking it. It's fantastic. It's cold. You're drinking it with you're having it with coffee. You're drinking it with you're swigging it down. You're having some cereal, and then the minute it goes bad, and you smell it. That's how the NFL is.
You don't want milk again for another month.
Yeah, it's
I'm good on this.
The NFL and Hollywood and ESPN has become the expired milk in your fridge. It's because I know even yesterday when I was watching the game. Like, kind of going in and out from the food back in, and we're resting. I was closing my eyes a lot too. But when I was watching, I kind of was like,
he was passed out.
Yeah, I was bored, but I was bored because I didn't give a shit about the game. Like, it's actually I don't care. I can't even explain it. I don't even. And I used to be a kind of guy that I used to know a lot of stuff. I mean, I used to watch every week. I mean, when we first, I think I got my first big screen TV. It was a 70-inch Sony. I won it at my job. I think it was like 1995. It was one of those rear projection huge ones. Me and my buddy Lenny Russo carried up the stairs. It weighed like 400 pounds. I think the first time I plugged it in, I was one of the first ones with this TV. Me and like 30 guys came to my apartment and like we're going drinking beers, going crazy. That's how much we were into it. Nowadays, I can't even watch it anymore. It sickens my stomach. And I see the way, and Sal, I didn't think of this, and I'm going to let Sal talk about this. He brought something up that I didn't know about, obviously, because I'm not watching, but I found to be incredibly interesting, but it fits the NFL cowardly mantra, and it's about the player on the Steelers who, I guess, is paralyzed.
But they won't say it. Yeah.
But yet say that because that's a big
I remember,
thing.
like, I'm watching NFL this year solely for fantasy. I'm doing that stuff. But I was watching Steeler game. It was Monday night a couple weeks ago. Everyone knows that guy Ryan Shazier is injured now. He was like their star linebacker. If you guys were watching, and you can comment too, if you were watching live like I was when the play happened, you just saw the guy go limp and go down and start pounding the ground with his hands. He couldn't move his bottom half of his body. You're like, damn, he just paralyzed himself. And then he gets carted off the field. It looks horrible. But right after that, the news report, oh, he's looking good. He's going to be all right. Things are looking up. We'll get you the report later on. The next day happens. Oh, well, he's still looking good, but we're going to have to take, we're going to take a step back, blah, blah, blah. Then after that, they're like, oh, things are much worse than we previously expected. And that was it. After things were much worse than previously expected, that was it. You never hear a word about the guy.
Right.
And that's it. Gone.
Yeah.
And then they show him like in the stands, just like waving a towel.
Yeah,
He's dude will never walk again. Like.
Yeah. And that, I mean.
They don't report it.
No, that's my point of the story.
Yeah,
because between that and head traumas, they don't want to report any of this stuff. They just, the NFL people, and that's another thing. The NFL handled that horribly, and that didn't just happen this year.
Yeah, I was a little long-winded. Sorry, but
no, but it was kind of carried on through. But that's another. And just last thing, we talk about ESPN laying tons of people off. They've gone to shit. Nobody cares about them anymore. They've had 2 or 3 layoffs of a lot of people.
The CEO left.
Yeah, the CEO left under like suspicious.
Well, he did it so he could keep his severance.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm an alcoholic. I'm a disease. You got to give me my money.
And then Hollywood, we talked about that time and time again. Movies, no one's going to the movies. I mean, you're seeing cinemas closing up or struggling and hemorrhaging, like Sal said earlier, hemorrhaging money. Movies. I think if you make a movie that's over $100 million, and there's been a couple, they don't even recoup half of what they and here's my thing on that. That's not even current. That's just what they initiated with the movie as they made it. But what about the advertising like they did last week? That's not incorporated. How could they? They didn't even use it yet, or their future of putting trailers and stuff.
They're done.
They're done. They're done.
It's crazy.
They're done. But
I love it done.
Yeah, I think. And
they shot themselves in the foot with all their
bluster.
I mean, you can just go back a year ago. Like the best year in the review you could do is Hollywood actors saying Trump won't become president.
Well, there's a million of them.
I mean, but you roll through it. You're like, oh, damn, he said it. Damn, he said it.
Yeah.
Oh, he said it too. Wait a second, he said it too. And then you look at the numbers now.
Yeah.
How great it is.
Yeah, there was like 25, 30 people that made this over-the-top statement.
Clooney, Cranston,
all wrong.
Louis C.K. Yeah. And guess what happened to all these people?
Yeah, they
all got fucked
by
their own doings.
Yeah, and that's another thing in Hollywood. We're not even getting to that, and I'm getting, but the whole pedophilia, the whole abuse of women, harassment. The whole abuse of young boys, whatever the case may be. This is a whole nother part that's just an implosion. It's just an implosion of these once industries that were, I thought, almost impenetrable. Yeah. But I guess we find out that nothing is these days. Nothing. And then you have Weinstein, who was part of Hollywood. And it's funny how you don't hear a word about that guy. He was big news for a couple days. You only hear. When was the last time you heard someone say something about Weinstein? Or what's happening to him? What is he going to be criminally charged? Is he going to be?
I say Weinstein should release the sex tapes. That's what I say.
You don't even hear.
I'm like, damn. Like, if he's gonna get so defamed and blah blah blah, you might as well just release it. Be like, hey, I have signed paperwork that says I was allowed to do this for this role for her to win this Oscar, and this is the video now, and everyone can see.
Yeah, like of my creepy being.
But I would just do it.
Yeah, I don't care.
Here you go, Ashley Judd. Yeah. Here's you on your knees.
Well, listen. That's a whole other argument we have. But it's just that the whole thing is crumbling. They're built on sand. It's all these industries are built on sand, and it shows me one other thing. It shows me that us deplorables, we have much more of an impact than we ever thought, because a lot of this stuff has been generated on social media. A lot of this stuff has been generated by people like us, by you guys who are watching this. Every day we're talking about it. you know, the things that we decide not to buy anymore, that we don't, the things we decide not to watch anymore, that we don't, making huge impacts.
Huge.
And I think people are starting to realize, and maybe they're scared now, that we have way more power. It's kind of like we're wielding a hammer and we can do what we want with it. It's being proven.
Taking down billion-dollar industries.
Oh my God. Taking down industries that,
like you were saying, rocks.
right,
And they can't.
that once thought of never. I mean, the NFL alone, the fact of the matter is that you can have a, you know, we can go back, and I think Sal and I talked about this probably when the NFL was hot,
many
six or seven podcasts ago. I will guarantee you this, and I don't know what it was yesterday, but I will guarantee you that a Monday night football game this time of the year, probably in the old days, generated like a 20 or an 18. I think last week or the week before, I think it generated like a 4 or a 3.
They're all record lows. Every week's a new record low.
It's like 2.6, but
Nobody's
it's just, yeah, nobody's watching. And that alone, and I think what it was reported by the media organization is that every 10% drop in ratings is $200 million loss. What? And that
Just
is
wait till you
huge.
got to renegotiate.
Well, that's the whole nother thing.
broadcast deals. Good luck with that.
And it's going to be funny because I think obviously licensees don't want to lose their money, but I think for once, well, if you're a negotiator, you're going to walk into that meeting with a huge smile on your face because you're bringing in all the ratings or the lack thereof. You're bringing all the lower attendance. You're bringing in all that people don't give a shit. You know,
just like, so if people don't know, I'll switch subjects just a little bit to give you perspective. The UFC, it's mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
They're renegotiating the deal with Fox. The UFC tried to go every different possible outlet channel on television they could. No one wants them. No one wants them. They wanted $400 million for the rights. No one's paying it to them. They're on Fox already, but Fox is like, we're not giving you $400 million. We'll give you $200 million. So UFC's like, no, we can get 400. We can get 400. They can't. They still haven't even signed the contract. Maybe they have now, but their contract's up for next year. They haven't signed. It's unheard of. Usually these contracts are done years in advance.
Right.
So
they're everyone nervous.
So if Fox is like 200, take it or leave it. These companies don't wield them. And UFC, I'm not saying anything even bad came out of UFC. I'm just giving perspective. Even huge corporations like that, there's no demand for it. There's no demand.
I think the organization that bought the UFC from the Machida brothers,
$4 billion.
they overpaid. They paid $4 billion.
Overpaid.
So they're trying to recoup their investment. So they're asking for all this money.
Yeah, and no one's paying.
No, and I think the NFL is a lot.
They're going to do the same thing's going to happen to them.
I would imagine 10 years ago, you're a TV executive negotiating with the NFL. The NFL probably held no quarter on your ass. They probably came in and said, listen, our ratings are this.
We want this.
We want this. And they probably dictated.
I want a brand new Cadillac every year.
Yeah.
This. I want that. This house. And now,
that's exactly what happened. And now the roles have been reversed. Unbelievable. But it must be.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it.
Yep. So that was one. That's another one of the I think the big stories of 17.
Yeah.
And
it's the turnaround of culture. That 1 year turnaround, of stopping this PC crap.
And my prediction is, and your predictions are more valid than mine, but my prediction is that all this is going to continue because I don't foresee it changing. And I think it's one of those things is once people, and I know this is how I am. I'm not saying everybody's like me, but once I lose interest in something like that, I can never get it back. It's very hard for me. Just the way my mind works. Once I lose interest in something because of a reason like this, I can't go back because I can't. That person to me is their own brand. Like if you're doing Hollywood, that person is their own brand. A guy like George Clooney, who I was never a big fan of anyway, but just for argument's sake, I'll give you a better one. Robert De Niro back in the day. That guy was a brand to me. When he made the movies that we all love, I can go on and on. I don't need to waste your time. That guy, I would go see a movie based on him. And I'm talking pre-stupid shit, like the Fockers and when Pat, whatever the other one was.
You're talking back in
But I'm going back in the day. Yeah. I would go see a movie for Robert De Niro if I knew he was going to be in a movie. Now, I can't. I find it funny that the hypocrisy of a guy like him. Here's a guy who made his living shooting people, calling people motherfuckers,
being a misogynist,
and abusing women in movies.
Raging Bull.
Goodfellas.
I was acting. I was acting.
Yeah. Now he's going to come out and act like he's holier than thou. Yeah. It just, to me, just keep your mouth shut. Just shut up.
Yeah. No. it's him coming out like he did was faker than any acting he
Yeah.
ever did in any movie.
Of course.
It's like, oh, how much did you get paid to do this?
Right.
God.
But so that's it. So I'm kind of done with it, and so
Yeah.
and I'm glad. It's cool.
Good thing is we're at the finish line right now.
Yeah.
The new year's starting next week. It's gonna be bright and beautiful new year with new tax cuts, new
Yeah.
money. And I know, like you're saying, you can't predict because it's easy.
You're pretty good at it, though.
Yeah, but I think something big is going down in 18, like midway through, some kind of conflict. I'm not going to call it a battle or a war. I'm saying we're taking out a country, whether it be Iran, whether it be North Korea.
My hope, if I have one wish for 2018, my one wish is that I want the Attorney General, and the way you see a big time investigation and prosecution work on TV, I want that to start happening. I want this guy Sessions, and if he can't do it, get rid of him and implement or hire someone else like a Jim Jordan or a Trey Gowdy. I want him to start gathering up the underlings to the Clinton Foundation, the underlings to the DNC, the underlings of the FBI, and then you put them in a room, in separate rooms, and you get them all in at a certain time. Hypothetically, say it's 3 o'clock. First person to talk gets immunity and gets what do you call it? No jail time. All the rest, lifetime in prison. And watch, it's going to take probably 2 minutes, maybe 30 seconds before they're all talking, and you're just gathering information. And I want to see the crumbling. Then I want to see them going after the big whales like Hillary, like Obama, like Comey, like Mueller. I want to see that happening, and that's my wish for 2018. Besides Donald Trump to continue to win, which I think he will.
Yeah. I think that's hands down. He's going to keep doing what he's going to do. I think the policies are just going to get sharper and better.
I think he's just going to get better at his job, and he's one tough son of a bitch. Because we talked about it. No other politician, and we know he's not one, but no other politician, I want your opinion on this because this is what I think. Because people ask me all the time, why do you think so many people resigned in his cabinet?
Why?
I think not because they couldn't get the job done, because they couldn't take the scrutiny of the media. They couldn't take, or maybe if they could take it, their families couldn't. For some reason, this guy and his family they're getting abused by more people than anyone else in this. Other than probably Jesus Christ, he's being persecuted more than any other person I've ever seen in my life. And he's sticking by. Now, other guys, like there's a guy like Sebastian Gorka, who I think is a genius. You listen to him, he's brilliant, he's tough. But he said something which emulated with me. He said that my kids are going to school and they're being threatened, or my wife, when she goes somewhere in D.C., is being threatened. And he goes, I love what I do, and I'll always support President Trump, but I don't want to. It's not fair for me to subject my family to this kind of scrutiny.
See, this is it, and people can agree with me, they can disagree with me. Trump and his family are like that because they have this I don't give a fuck money. They
True.
have this. They're like, I have this fuck off money.
That's true.
They have their billions.
Yeah.
And billions of dollars. And guess what? When they stop becoming president, they still have billions. And he's not trying to write books and go on tours and do
correct. You don't need to.
He's telling people, listen, I have this go fuck yourself money.
Right.
So you can say anything you want about my family.
Right. That's a good point. And these other guys, I don't think it's with them.
They don't have that kind of money.
No, of course they don't.
They don't.
And they got to.
If you had $2 billion too, you would say what you wanted, whenever you wanted, and then if someone disagreed with you, you'd be like, fuck you. And then you'd walk away.
I kind of agree, but that's what I think happens. I think these guys are just so genuinely they can't take the scrutiny. And listen, that's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, of course not.
Let's go back. Every Republican candidate pre-Trump couldn't take it.
They couldn't handle the heat.
They couldn't handle the heat at all. They were bums. I mean, they would cower in the fetal position and just continue to take beating after beating. George Bush was a perfect example, and it made me laugh because George Bush, I thought, was handled pretty terribly, but quite honestly, he didn't do anything. He actually, and then here's the last part about George Bush that just goes to show you what kind of man he was for this job. He couldn't handle it. He never said what Obama and Hillary Clinton abused him on the campaign trail. Everything was wrong. It was his fault. He never said one derogatory thing against either person. However, he came out and said something derogatory about President Trump. Because of what? And So that kind of tells me where his, where his bread is buttered.
Yep.
And I got kind of tired of seeing that. But that's really it for 2018. I'm hoping for our future that Trump continues to win and get better, which I think he will. And then I think lastly, I think all those things are going to continue. And I want to see these criminals go to jail.
Yes. I'm right with
That's
you
it.
on all that. And guys, we're gonna wrap it up now. And just I want to say to everyone, thank you so much for listening to us this year.
Yeah.
We're just gonna get bigger and better next year. We're just gonna keep upping our game. And that means we will, I know we've been saying it for a while, but we're gonna get callers in here. We're gonna get guests. We're gonna make this big and we're gonna make it great.
Yeah, we're starting to get, getting some negotiating stuff with some studios and things of that nature. So we have to solidify it. And we want to wait till after New Year anyway, because we want to see the direction it was going. So we kind of want to see. So we're going to be doing that. So a lot of your points and comments have been taken. We've listened. And listen, some of you guys have given us great laughs. And then even the people who are nuts are we thank you though for watching.
Cherish it.
Thank you for the comments, and want to wish everyone a healthy, happy, and safe New Year. God bless and enjoy.
All right, guys. Take care.
Take care, everyone. Gary Gabagoo out. My boy Sal.
Peace.
Dude, it's how warm, man. Holy shit, get my hat. Now I know why Santa wears one of those. Hi, baby.
Hey, I do duties. Where were you parking for? For no reason. Squishy's all tucked away in our bed. He's keeping all warm.
It's fucking in there, man.
Oh, you can't. This is posted.
I posted.
Yeah, you did.
I did post on.
Sure.